What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to your tutorial in which we'll be continuing with our Twitter extension, which I've been doing from past 3 tutorials or maybe 2, but let's get started. So where our left was is that we actually trimmed a little bit of data from Twitter, and we were just left with the header, stream activity header, which included a timestamp and some links, and that's pretty much it. So what we need to do is we need to get only the text of this inside this, so as to get a simplified message. So let's just do it. So what I'll do is we can run a loop and an array which would store all of these messages, and let's see what we can do with it. So I'll just create a for loop here, as less than data.find, and what we need to find the li, obviously, because the number of li's are the number of notifications you have currently. So we'll just go with, and I'll just do add plus plus, and we'll just create an array right here. So I'll just do messages I equals, and what it should equal is where are you, activity header, and we could just make it to activity header to save a little DOM manipulation. This dot find, or not this, actually this should be data dot find. I guess we should keep it the same. I'm a little bit confused, so let's just keep it same with li.stream item dot find li.stream item, but the difference is eq. Now eqi gives us the ith or the nth li we are working with. So now we can just move down a bit in the DOM tree, and I want to find, what I want to find is this thing right here. Yeah, so I want to find this, what we could pick, maybe this one, this class div, and I just want to return its text. So at the end I'll just console log messages. So let's just see what happens. Okay, we got a blank array. Alright. Oh no, actually we need that symbol because we are actually using that. So let's just see what's happening. Okay, this should be length. Let's reload now. Okay, so we have got now the messages, and I guess these denote new lines. So let's just trim out this, all the stuff, and instead of just creating a new function, what we can do is just use some regular expressions. Okay, I don't know what I pressed. Yeah, it's back to normal. And I'd like to have a global flag on it, and obviously not in quotes. I guess I put it by mistake. Should be replaced by a nothing, and this should be trimmed out by default JavaScript. So let's just check it out now. Let's reload this. Or okay, we have got some problems. Let me see. Or we can just do a new line replace, can't we? Yeah, so looks much cool now. Okay, so we have got a bunch of empty elements between as well, but that should be no worry. We'll manage that later. So we have got the messages as individual elements in the array, and we could actually get some more information if you see. So we have got all these titles right here, these titles, and we need something else, and those are IDs, these data item IDs. So let's just see how we can retrieve them. So we were working with this li context as a loop, and we could actually make them IDs as array as well. So IDs I would equal to this thing right here, having the attribute, firstly the EQ, and the attribute to be data item ID. Alright, so now we have associated every ID X with a message X. So ID 1 stands for message 1's ID, ID 2 stands for message 2 ID, and so on. So let's just console log both of these separately. Let's just reload this. Alright, so we have got the length as 19 and the length as 19. Both are same, so there should be no problem in equating them with a similar variable. Now we can do as latest ID and set this latest ID to the IDs 0. Now this tweet is having the latest ID. So now let's say, let's just remove these two. Let's say if our latest ID, or we can just set it right now. Let's say if our latest ID is equal to ID 0, that means there's no update to the tweet. Else if latest ID is undefined, and I'll just triple check it, that means our program ran for the first time. So we should handle this some different way. Else if latest ID is not equal to ID 0, and you see that I have specified this is not equal to condition after the undefined, because this would validate if I specify this condition underneath this one. So if latest ID is not equal to our current ID, that means there has been some update with the messages. So what we can do is we can create some new tweets as an array again, and we can say for let's just create some containers for some conditions to be put on, and let's say for j equals 0, latest id is not equal to id j, and j should be incremented over the time. So now I would also specify if base condition, or let's just leave it now. So we are running this loop unless we encounter the latest ID, and we'll just append the new tweets with the messages. So what's happening here is we are running a latest ID loop which would run unless we encounter the ID which is the old ID one, and else if we could actually specify if latest ID is equal to ID 0, there's no update. If latest ID is undefined, we'll see this later, and if this thing is happening, then we have got our new tweets in an array, and we'll just latest ID update it to the ID 0. So I guess we are partially done our code. It's 40% completed this extension, and that's it for this tutorial, because there's a lot of coding in this and it needs some time for you to understand. And if you don't understand what I'm doing in this tutorial, then don't worry, because at the last of this extension I will explain this whole coding again. So if I missed anything which you didn't understood in this video, then don't worry, I'll be explaining all of this extension code again. So that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you then in the next one, continuing with the same extension, and then see you.